Dun Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers, Josh here, and as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at this week's new game releases, gaming announcements, and a few news stories. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join in on the fun. Alright, as always, we'll start off with this week's new game releases. And God of War Ragnarok was definitely the biggest release this week, and it instantly jumped into the Game of the Year discussion. Could this be the game that knocks off Elden Ring? I don't know about that yet. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. The game is absolutely beautiful and it's a blast to play. This is an absolute must play for all PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 owners. Next up, Sonic Frontiers was the other big release this week, and this was the most eagerly anticipated Sonic game in a really long time. The game came out on the Nintendo Switch, Xbox systems, PC, and PlayStation systems. This is in the argument for best 3D Sonic game of all time, and I definitely recommend it to any platform or Sonic fans. Next up, Tactics Ogre Reborn was released on the Nintendo Switch, the PC, and PlayStation systems. Now, this tactical RPG series has been a hidden gem and most underrated list for years. It's good to see a new generation of gamers get to experience this franchise. If you're a fan of tactics style games, I highly recommend adding this game to your collection. Vampire Survivors was released last year on PC and has become a bit of a cult classic. I have heard some good things about this roguelike shoot 'em up game, and this week it finally came to consoles with the release on Xbox systems, including on Game Pass Day 1. We checked out the game here on the channel, so I will link that video at the end of this one. Lastly, Atari 50th Anniversary Collection was released on the Xbox systems, PC, PlayStation systems, and the Nintendo Switch. This compilation includes over 100 games from arcade and Atari 2600, all the way up to the Atari Lynx and the Atari Jaguar. There is also an interactive timeline which chronicles the Atari brand over its 50-year history. I have not picked this one up yet, but this is definitely a game I will be picking up as soon as I get the chance. Next up, let's take a look at a few gaming announcements. Now, the next Sword Art Online game was announced. As this popular anime series, next game is going to be titled Sword Art Online Last Recollection. Now, this will be released next year in 2023. The game is scheduled to release on the Xbox, the PC, and PlayStation with a single player offline or up to 4-player co-op online modes. Now, the first look at the new Mass Effect game was released as a Mass Effect 4 teaser trailer was put out by BioWare, and I really hope this game can get the series back on track. The first 3 games were some of the best games of all time, and the follow-up, Mass Effect Andromeda, I would have to say is one of the biggest disappointments in gaming history. I am super looking forward to Mass Effect 4. We will keep you up to date on any info as we get it, but definitely keep your eye out for this. I'm really hoping, and it sounds like they're going to get this series back on track. Firefighting Simulator The Squad was announced to be coming to PlayStation and Xbox systems, with the console versions of this game being released on December 6th. So you don't have to wait too long for this game. It's only a couple weeks away. This is a firefighter sim. There's tons of different levels and stuff you go through, and you kind of get to reenact putting out fires. Now, we also got an announcement for a new Monster Hunter game in the works. Capcom is teaming up with developer Timi, I think that's how you say it. It's Timi Studio, and they are known for mobile games. They did make the Pokemon Unite and the Call of Duty mobile games. The game will, like the other mentioned games, be a mobile Monster Hunter game, but no release window or specifics on the game were announced as of this time. Lastly, Project The Perceived was announced this week with a trailer that showed off a lot of combat and some really nice looking visuals. This samurai action adventure game looks really good. We didn't receive any kind of release window yet, but I will definitely be keeping my eye on this one. It has kind of a Ghost of Tsushima slash Elden Ring look to it. I'm really excited for this and I'm looking forward to seeing more about it. Alright gamers, let's finish up this week in review with a few news stories from this week. Now, there has been a lot of Diablo 4 discussion over the past week, with the Diablo team doing interviews and discussing the game, and also some videos showing off a lot of the different parts of the game. But in some really exciting possible news, multiple reports have stated that the game's release date may be much earlier than we expected, and that we may have our hands on the game as early as April. If this is the case, I expect we will hear more about the game during the Game Awards on December 8th. Now, in some good news for Xbox RPG gamers, PlayStation appears to have leaked how long they will have console exclusivity for the upcoming Final Fantasy XVI. Now, unlike past Square Enix titles with a year plus of exclusivity, it appears the newest Final Fantasy game will be able to go to other systems in just 6 months after its initial PlayStation 5 release. We also got some Gears of War news. Unfortunately, it's not for a new game. That being said, pretty excited for this news as Netflix has announced plans to release both a live action movie as well as an animated series based on the franchise. Now, Cliffy B, aka Cliff Bleszinski, the since retired creator of Gears, also chimed in, giving his endorsement for Dave Bautista, who played Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel movies, to be in the live action movie. And I think that sounds like an awesome idea. Now, we also had a Nintendo Direct this week. This time it was an indie direct. There was a lot of games here. Some of the highlights for me was Have a Nice Death, a roguelike side-scrolling hack and slash game. Pepper Grinder, which looked like it could be fun. It was a side-scrolling action-adventure game. Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni, a 3D action-adventure game. It looked really good. WrestleQuest, the wrestling RPG, and Curse of the Sea Rats, a fun-looking side-scrolling action-adventure game, were both shown in a sizzle reel. Then the one last thing for this was an update for Sports Story. Now, this upcoming RPG is finally being released this December. They didn't give the actual date, but hey, December's right around the corner, so we can expect that any day now. Overall, it was kind of disappointing. The games weren't that exciting, but there was a couple fun ones that I'm definitely going to be looking into, so stay tuned to the channel, and we'll get you more information on those games as it comes along. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on November 11th. Now the week started with, well, more Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer fun. I've been playing that game a lot and really enjoying it. Then Sonic launched to mostly positive reviews, and this week ended as we delved deeper into the amazing God of War Ragnarok. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. Shows World out.